When we were little, we went to school half year each place. We went to school in New Orleans in the fall term and here in the winter and spring term. But I was the youngest in the family, and we stopped doing that when my brother went to junior high school. My father had just run for governor and lost, thank God, and it was then clear that his future was going to be in Washington and in his view, hopefully in the House leadership. And so we started spending our school years here, and then summer and Christmas in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. And what was it like growing up in the Capitol as a child?
Growing up in the Capitol was wonderful. It didn't have the horrible security that it has now, and it was, you had the run of the place. You could run into corridors and come upon blind doors, or come upon balconies you didn't know were there that were filled with people's autographs from over the centuries. And I had my 7th birthday in the Speaker's dining room. The Senate, there was only one Senate office building, so all the towels said SOB, and it had a little rattan car that ran back and forth between it and the Capitol. And there were times when I was quite small that my mother would just sort of park me on there, and the poor guy running the tram was my babysitter, but they didn't seem to mind. Of course I was interested in politics. I ran for student government. I went to the National Student Association and spoke, all those kinds of things. But Steve and I met at the National Student Association when we were 18 and 19, and he was always going to be a journalist from the time he was a little boy. So it would have been pretty hard on him if I had gone into politics. I knew Congress in a way that nobody knew Congress, and it was very, very helpful. I knew that the woman in the carryout was more likely to know the schedule than the majority leader. I knew that the men sitting on the door, as the term of art goes, knew what was going on behind the door. And I had relationships with all those people. And in fact, when I came back, one of the men who had worked at the Ways and Means Committee looked at me and said, "Baby, you're back." And then he said, "I mean, Miss Baby," now that I was 30. So it was a great advantage. I also knew things just by osmosis, so I would find myself constantly explaining to people what it means to call the previous question and things like that. And I don't even know how I knew it, but I knew it.